this rolling about now, I think. Cue the music, maestro.
I really hope that's not copyrighted.
Alright, welcome to Twonk Hammer Entertainment's Twitch channel, and hopefully YouTube channel if you're picking this up on YouTube after the fact. My name is Dan, I will be your host this evening. We are going to do some Let's Play Tales of Xillia. I am joined by Lord Strell, and... God,
Tempest.
I forget your name already. It's Tempest.
He'll get it one of these days, Tempest. He'll get it one of these days.
I will.
Oh, he's got to pick on the new guy.
Yes, pick on the new guy. But you can find us at twonkhammer.com. You can also find us at any one of our social sites, facebook.com/twonkhammer, twitter.com/twonkhammer, and youtube.com/twonkhammer-ENT. That ENT is very important, because without it, you're not going to be able to find us. So, without further ado, let's get right on into our Let's Play. We have left off just finishing the prologue, and we're moving into the core game as it is. Here we go.
Now, one of the things about the Tales games is I'm a fairly recent player into the Tales series. So, I mean, I started with Tales of the Abyss, and that was when apparently the relaunch of it on the 3DS console when they ported it over from its PS2 predecessor. So, seeing the gameplay in Tales of Xillia is actually pretty exciting because, A, the graphics are already, I can tell, a lot sharper than what I'm used to on the 3DS's graphic engine. And,
Yeah, definitely. The time that I've spent with it so far, it's even a great upgrade from Tales of Grace's F, which was my last Tales game, which is actually also for the PS3.
See, now, I haven't played the Tales game in quite some time. The last one I played was Tales of Destiny on the original PlayStation, and that game was hilariously awesome. The sound effect when a monster would come up was like, "Oh!" And like every battle preceded by, "Oh!" I couldn't take it. I laughed the whole way through the game. It had a really unique sense of humor, especially considering the sword could talk. So the main character was arguing with his sword half the time.
that sounds awesome. I kind of feel sad that I missed out on this.
And this game looks interesting. I really, so far, am very much enjoying the interaction between these two main characters.
Well, I mean, it's definitely different, I would say, from past Tales games. But I don't know if we should like keep quiet and let the viewers watch and listen to the cutscenes, or have us, kind of pretending to like voice override these characters while they're talking. It's like, I am this old guy, and you don't even understand what I'm saying because I'm lip syncing it.
My eyes are too close together and my nose is pointing. What am I supposed to do?
I got a
Do you
horse
look like a
face.
plastic surgeon?
Yeah, exactly.
You look like a good plastic surgeon. Look at those boobs. That hair, that's not natural.
Yeah. Wow, plastic hair surgery. God, what if we entered this world today? Oh, boss fight incoming, or it's like badass chick. Does
They have
does
threatening
pose.
sticks.
Threatening sticks. Yes, they're gonna just have to beat them to death. I think that outfit is too scantily clad for our main heroine. We're gonna have to beat you for it. Hello again. All the citizens, it's like, we want to run away, but we can't help turning back and taking a look. And now is that ship turning its guns towards them? I would think that's something to worry about.
Turn around and run, boy.
Yeah. No. Enter mysterious character.
All of a sudden, kicks all of their asses, just randomly, out of the blue. Hello, I'm Dashing Man. I'm the
At
Han
least he doesn't have a 6-foot sword.
Your lovely lady friend's about about to set sail, you know.
I don't know, that outfit, it's like, I think they're kind of going for a combination between Cloud and Leon here.
Cloud Leon.
We'll just see how big his sword is when he pulls it out.
Oh dear.
I thought I was going to make the first sexual reference.
and now it's the fact that, you know, they're having some a bonding moment that's here, you know, holding each other so tenderly. It's like, I don't know if we want to keep watching this, but... Random girl decides to say, by the way, if you guys want to jump on the ship, and, oh look, I can fly! Jump! You know, gotta love the superhuman physics in some of these games, because I was like, you know, they never really explain that, like, they explain the magic very well in the Tales games, but some of the superhuman feats that they have in these games is like, I'm not exactly sure how they explain that. It's like, let's just go with magic.
Yeah, it's willing suspension of disbelief. If you question everything, the game's gonna get kind of annoying very fast.
That's my name.
Trust me, like, when it comes to most, like, JRPGs or Western RPGs, I kind of just throw logic out the window, because it's like, it's just better if you don't.
So introductions: Alvin, Mila, Alvin, Jude.
Now, just to clarify, now, if I'm not mistaken, all the Tales games usually start with, you know, main character boy A with main heroine B. Just to clarify really quick.
Usually, yeah. I mean, there's always a group of heroines. Yeah, but in this particular one, you get a chance to choose which one you want to be the main heroine or hero, and that's never been done before in a Tales game. Usually, it's just a single character or a group of characters that's being followed.
Now, when you say that you get to choose the main character or main heroine, does this mean that there's actual multiple plot storylines that you can choose?
It's storyline point of view. They intersect a lot, and where they're together, it's pretty much the same. But, like in the beginning, you saw, if you had watched the previous episode here, it was all from Mila's point of view. And when, I can't remember the kid's name. What's the kid's name?
Jude.
And when Jude stumbles in and nearly drowns for talking, there was a whole section of gameplay before that, if you had chosen Jude, that led him to that point. So we're only seeing from her eyes at this point in the game.
Ah, okay.
If she's not involved in a scene, then we won't see that scene.
Yep.
And you have to play both sides to get the full story.
That's actually pretty cool.
Which I intend to do at some point. It may not be now, but I will probably play it through twice, at least.
Well, it's not the first time this has happened. Probably the most notable game was Saga Frontier on the PlayStation. I believe there was 8 characters that you could select from, and all of them had intertwining storylines. It was a very good game.
You know, there was another game that's very near and dear to my heart. It was Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Absolutely one of my favorite games that's ever come out for the PSP, which is a lot considering that the PSP doesn't have a lot going for it. But my opinions aside, it also has a very similar concept in that regard where, you know, pretty much intersecting stories, but you have to play all of them to really see. And, you know, that game was beautifully done. And then we get games that I really would rather not talk about, but for the sake of argument, there's Resident Evil 6. And we all know the catastrophe and letdown and kind of bad dream that we wish never happened. Yeah, go Capcom.
Make another Mega Man X game. I'll be happy. I'll forgive you.
Make another Mega Man game, period. I swear to God, ever since Inafune got canned from Capcom, you swear they have an axe to grind to say, fuck you to the Mega Man fans.
I would like to see a Mega Man Legends, personally.
Well,
I love those 2 games, and I would love to see like an HD remake of them, if not a full-on new version, a new actual whole game itself.
See, did you hear, now Tempest, did you hear about the Mega Man Legends 3 project and the catastrophe that went down with that?
No, I did not.
Okay, so the father of Mega Man, Inafune, I couldn't remember his first name for the life of me. But basically, he went essentially rogue and started building this project without the executive board of Capcom's quote unquote permission, and started building the game on his own. And so pretty much fan submissions and various other individuals, the game was actually reaching, a point where it was actually reaching playability. And then I think events turned out where they finally reached a climax point where they finally just said enough's enough, Inafune, take your shit and go, and there's the door. And so Inafune essentially said, fine, I'm gonna go make my own game company, screw you guys, I'm going home. And then Capcom has canned the project, canceled it completely, and ever since then, there has not been even so much as a word or breath about Mega Man. The only time we've seen Mega Man is mentioned is Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or the recent Project X Zone where, Maverick Hunter, Mega Man X, and Zero make an appearance as playable characters in the game. And that's about the extent of it. So I was like, oh yeah, not to mention also the premiere of Mega Man in Super Smash Brothers
right.
Brawl?
It just seems like a bunch of licensing feeding off of the character, because they own it, as opposed to actually making a complete and marketable game. But this has nothing to do with the Tales series, and we are really good at getting on tangents.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Welcome to the Twonk Hammer family. It's all about tangents. That's exactly what we do on the Bandhammer.
Yeah, exactly. Because, it's like... and that's one of the things that you have to appreciate about the Tales games, is that, the Tales games, for as long as they've been going, despite, how many years it's been, they've had some consistency in between each game that keeps that level of familiarity between them.
Hey there.
But they've always had a certain degree of quality rather than a declining quality. I mean, granted, I'm new to the Tales series, but after watching a couple Let's Plays of some of its predecessors, and just taking a brief playthrough on some of them, it really has shown me that there's a lot of consistency that you don't see in a lot of sequels of games these days. And it was very a pleasant surprise for me.
Well, I would put it as that they are very, for lack of a better term, iterative. They are very similar to each other. The old ones on the PlayStation had a 2D side-scrolling combat system, which I think at closest resembled, I think it was Golden Sun or Golden Axe on the Game Gear, way back. It was like a fighting game for your random battles. And then I think the GameCube was the first one that had a full 3D battle system with Tales of Symphonia. And since then, they've had this very nice, very smooth, three-dimensional battle system. And in this particular game, I don't know if they did it in the previous, but they have very good little animated scenes where the characters are interacting, yelling at each other, continuing dialogue while the fight is going on. And I really like that.
It's a good addition to the battle system. It really gets it really gives the battle system depth.
Well,
I mean, personally, I've always been a big fan of party banter myself. It adds, life to it and feeling to the characters, because that's
there is plenty of banter in this game.
Well, see, I thought you were going to say, and there's plenty to feel, as we stared at her midriff.
Now that we've crossed the
She
border,
definitely likes getting the freaking close-up shots to that.
Well, didn't you learn anything from Terra Online? The less you wear, the better your armor is. She is invincible.
Okay, I think there's a very, very appropriate meme that everyone should look up. Just basically, just look up boobs meme, and you'll immediately see this one picture of this guy that's just like, oh my god! And it's just explaining the vast majority of a lot of Korean MMOs that have been coming out lately. And Terra Online, I was like, oh my god, this game is the epitome of scantily clad armor equals higher defenses, not to mention also ridiculous jiggle physics.
I am a fan. Because boobs.
See, it's fine for us because we're all guys here. But I've known plenty of girls that are like, really? Can I have some normal armor, please? And it wouldn't be so bad if there was options for the ladies that do like to play these MMORPG games without prancing around as scantily clad women.
I agree with you there. I would really prefer that there was a greater variety. That, for lack of a better term, you could dress your character as you chose instead of being limited to specific armor sets that you might not like. That's one of the things I have an absolute love for of Skyrim, because of the tremendous amount of mods that have edited skins into that game. Of course, I play with the skimpy stuff, because boobs. But
Because, yes.
because I'm a 14-year-old boy. But I've seen some amazing works of art in that game because of, and they weren't overdeveloped, skimpy, tiny. They were really legitimately beautiful pieces of armor that people have crafted into that game. And like I said, for lack of a better variety of options, you get stuck in some games, whether you're comfortable with what you're looking at or not. And it would be nice to have more options. I mean, you had options in Dragon Quest, kind of. If you wanted the best armor, Jessica had to be in a white teddy, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, this is true. Now, what we just saw on screen is something new to the game. It's called the shop expansion system. It's kind of how you get items in this game. Items actually don't appear in shops as you progress through the game. You have to give shops items to make you a preferred customer, and as your preferred status grows, new items appear.
I do like that, largely because of the fact, from my experience with Tales of Abyss, is that, pretty much new town, okay, let's check out the shop and see what new items there are. Don't have enough money, go out and grind. Go back to the shop.
RPG fare.
Yeah. And the fact that they actually want to make you, interact, kind of get familiar with these shopkeepers. And now, in Tales of Xillia, I have to ask, because does this mean also that there's actually a central hub that you actually visit quite frequently?
No.
Or do the shopkeepers travel around with you?
The expansion system is kind of, it's very static, so even as you go visit other shopkeepers, your level is still going to travel with you. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So pretty much, instead of, forcing you to have to go back to that one particular shopkeeper every time, pretty much, if you say get X level for the armor shop, it stays with you throughout the entire game through all the other armor shops.
Yep. I'll take it as a compliment. Pretty much, yeah. And what you're seeing here are the little various skits that happen throughout the game, and those are really what give the game its flavor.
Yes, I would have to say that's something I recognized immediately from playing Tales of Abyss, is the random party banter dialogues between the various different characters. And
nothing wrong with some good character development. Something I feel a lot of games lack.
Yes.
You and me both, Tempest. I cannot emphasize how many times that I don't like watching movies anymore, largely because of this. Because, when you're in a movie, doesn't it always feel like, the character development is so absurdly rushed that you don't actually get to know and appreciate the characters, their personalities, their quirks, etc.?
It's like they say, the books are better because they have more time. They're not limited by the constraints of the cost of a movie. But I agree with you. I don't watch a whole lot of movies, and I don't watch a whole lot of TV because games tend to have better development. You've got more options. You don't even have to listen to all of the text.
If I can interrupt for a second, we're going to go through one of the basic mechanics here, and it's called the linking system. And basically, you link with various partners throughout the game to create a more uniform sort of combat, and I will demonstrate that in this battle.
So you link together, and you get stronger from linking together. Sorry, that was, I know, bad pun, but still. So
it could have taken it to the form of chain, and it would have been a better pun. But holy crap, that was bad.
Yeah,
yes. But now in the linking, what happens with linking? How it's represented is that the blue line that links the two characters, they still can freely move together, but they move in tandem. and depending on what character you're currently linked with, you get different effects. Like Alvin is better at blocking or breaking someone's guard, whereas Jude is better at just just combination attacks.
So pretty much raw damage output.
Yeah.
Okay, now when you're in combat like this, how much control do you have? Other Tales games have mostly AI characters where you're only controlling one.
Yeah, you're only controlling one, but you have free-form movement. I can move throughout a 360 degree sphere if I want to. So I have full movement, but yeah, the other players are controlled by AI characters unless you have other controllers plugged in and other people.
Why is she obsessed with his hand?
Not bad.
In a land situation. So, yes. Some of the finishing battle mechanics, or not mechanics, but some of the finishing battle animations and sequences are just plain weird. Which gives...
It's entertaining.
Han Solo, like, putting his arm over Luke Skywalker there, just being like, "Hey, baby," and I'm like, "What the crap?" I'm just like watching these things. It's like he sure likes draping that arm over his shoulders. I was like, "Huh, no implications there, right?"
Well, while she was looking around at his hand, all I'm thinking is, "Oh, you got a boo-boo. Are you okay?"
But I'm actually seeing
Humans are
this.
so weak.
I'm actually seeing this linking system though. So basically, when you're linked with the character, that character's more prone to combo with your character in tandem.
Does this affect spells in any way, or any your?
Yes, and I will demonstrate that in the next battle.
Okay.
But I'm just quickly leveling up so I can have my full potential, if it were.
By the way, Lord, would you look at that thing, that word in the upper left corner there? What does that say to you?
I see Lilium Orb.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Lilium. Is that what it says, Dan? Does it say Lilium?
I had hence dubbed it Lithium.
Lithium?
That is its lithium orb. He levels with lithium.
What we got?
Kids don't do
Energizer
drugs.
Bunny as the final boss.
So did you see that tandem move?
It was like a double slash.
Yeah. That is based on your art that you perform, and if you get that little yellow flashy thing and press R2, which happens to be a trigger, you will perform a tandem art.
Nice.
Tell you one thing, the battles are nicely flashy. The acrobatics of the sword attacks are pretty well animated.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that Tales has never been too shy on, is having very fluid battle animations. Never actually seen any videos of, poor or stale, battle swings that, look like it's just like generic chopping, Hassan Chop going chop, chop, chop all the time. What I have to ask, though, Dan, is that question in regards to the arts. Now, are they easier to execute the art chains? Because one of the things that was always difficult for me to master in Tales of Abyss was getting like the elemental arts to chain and proc and cause and trigger the combos, because it's like basically sometimes the battles would be over before you can even get all that set up.
Well, sometimes it is. It really depends on how powerful your characters are and how proficient you are at really chaining. And sometimes, yeah, some of the battles just are over too quick before you can even say go. But other times, like with boss battles, no, you're gonna have plenty of time to get an art off or a chained art off.
Right.
I can remember some of Tales of Symphonia. It's been a while, but I recall some of the boss battles were difficult if you weren't at least adequate at comboing your moves together.
Or
because of the distance in the fighting. those battle arenas were. I can't tell you for sure if they're larger than the ones I'm seeing here, but they certainly felt really big because the characters were very small, chibi almost.
Either that or the depending on the fight, there was a lot more mechanics that you had to watch out for instead of just basically guarding the attacks that they throw at you every so once in a while, to having to full-blown watch where you're stepping in. Standard MMO, don't stand in the freaking fire.
Now you're playing the game on normal difficulty, right?
Yes, I am. And I take no shame in that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, we all know that difficulty in this game is like, playing a Sid Meier's game and wanting to jump from Prince to King in how drastic the scaling is in difficulty. It pretty much goes from, the game's actually fun, it's challenging in different parts, to holy crap, did that guy just one-shot me?
Yeah,
well, that's what I was about to ask. If you had found yourself in any situations that were difficult yet, a lot of the auto attacks, a lot of the random encounters we've seen have been easy, but you expect that of general mobs.
Yeah, general mobs. But later on, as I've said, I'm playing a different game as Jude as my main character. But in that game, the battles do get harder. But then as you level up your system, your lithium orb, you will, they'll get easier again, but boss battles are kind of where things get really challenging, and you have to really think about what arts are appropriate and what arts will be more or less effective.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I definitely learned in Tales games, you do not want your AI characters to be blasting or having their arts on auto, because one thing's for sure is that they will go through their entire pool and then you will have nothing to heal, because there's one thing that's very scarce in Tales games is healing items.
Well, healing items are okay, but restoring your mana is more difficult.
This is true.
This is true.
You can have plenty of gels, but
yeah, that's what the gels are for. And in case people didn't catch it last time, the gels are one of my favorite systems and in any RPG, because they heal a percentage versus a static amount of health.
Yes, I will agree with you on that, because if it's one thing, it gets really annoying that, it's like, I have all these older healing items and they're not that great anymore. I have to get the new ones, like in Pokemon, the potions, the super potions, the hyper potions, the full restores. It's like, come on, just give me just something that, gives me a percentage of my health back. 20%, 40, 50, 100.
Mm-hmm. And I can understand why they do it. They try to scale it with the amount of money you get, because they give you more money so you can afford more stronger, more capable items. It's kind of a barrier. It's a way to restrict the character's ability as they proceed through the game. But the benefit of the gels is that you find them everywhere, and they're always useful, because they're working on percentages. Now, you might not want to use a 30% item in a fight, because it's easier to wait, take a few more hits, use a 50, use a 60. But when you're out of combat, those little healing gels are great for mending small wounds between auto battles when you're approaching a boss or at a save point, instead of blowing something like a tent that would have cost you more.
Yeah, especially considering that Tales games really makes you want to think about, how much you consume those items prior to the fight. Because one of the things that I noticed also in Tales games is that the save points that have the healing feature are actually quite scarce and usually are only found immediately right before the boss battles.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, and I think after this battle we are actually going to pause for a break so I can start up a new episode. If you guys are watching on Twitch, hang with us. If you're watching on YouTube, we will start up a new episode shortly, but we'll continue our discussion in 1 second, I believe.
One
Do your banter.
Banter.
Mushroom, banter.
And dramatic pose.
And there's the screen.
And there's the
Get you
splash
first.
screen. Yes. So guys, you can find us on twonkhammer.com. You can find us on facebook.com/twonkhammer, twitch.com/twonkhammer. twonk.com/TV. You can find us on twitter.com/twonkhammer, youtube.com/twonkhammerent, and you can also find any of our podcasts. Go listen to them; they're great. You can find any of our podcasts on Stitcher, and this is all of our podcasts. All of what we do is brought to you by Audible.com. Don't forget, go to twonkhammer.com/audible. Sign up for the service. You get one free book. Free book you get to keep forever and a day. It's yours. Go ahead. Go sign up, and you'll be supporting us in the process. So, without further ado, thank you for watching, and we will be back next time.